Hey there and welcome. Today we're going to be talking about the dumbbell RDL, or the Romanian deadlift in other words. It's an incredible exercise for your hamstrings and lower back. At the end of the video, we're also going to be talking about some of the common mistakes you want to make sure you avoid. So make sure to stick around for that. So let's get right into it. So what you want to do is make sure that your feet are right inside shoulder width and that your back is straight as you go down. Another thing you want to make sure you're doing is keeping your chin tucked. And really think about pushing your hips back more than anything. I find that that's the best way to teach it. And also don't excessively bend at the knees. You want a slight bend at the knees. And you want to make sure you're doing it in a nice, controlled fashion, because the last thing you need is to get injured. But before we continue with more tips, here's a word from today's video sponsor.
I'm today's video sponsor. And if you'd like help losing fat or gaining muscle, there are a few ways I can help you down below. Either set up a free consultation with us, purchase one of our free affiliate links, or purchase one of our instant access affordable training programs. Can't wait to be of service to you. Now let's get back to the rest of the video.
Another thing you want to make sure you're doing is making sure that you're keeping your scapula engaged. So basically drive those shoulders back and really hold that position as best you can. What I find is that really helps people keep their torso more straight. And as you're going down, what you find is as you're hinging your hips back, what you really want to be thinking about is arching the lower back. So basically, try to push your butt up to the air and push it back at the same time. What that also does is it makes sure that it activates your hamstrings early. That way you're not feeling it only at the bottom, you're feeling it as soon as you start hinging, because one of the functions of your hamstrings is to level the hips, obviously. But if you maintain a anterior pelvic tilt as you're going down, which basically means your hips are tilted forward, it's going to create a way better stretch for your hamstrings. So that's why I'm just saying the simplest way to explain it is just arch your lower back as much as possible as you're going down. And you're going to find that after doing this for like a couple weeks, you're going to find that your hamstrings are actually more flexible. And that's because of that function. So just make sure to arch as best you can. That's also going to keep your back straight. Another key thing you want to make sure you're doing it is going in a nice, slow and controlled fashion, especially with deadlifts. The last thing you need is to get injured doing this, because this is actually a dangerous exercise. So you want to make sure you start off light, slowly start to increase the weight every other week or so. Do like 20 repetitions to start. You want to ingrain that muscle memory first before you start adding a bunch of resistance, because that's what's going to prevent you from getting injured in the future. Is if your body understands that the mechanics necessary to do the deadlift are like a commonality. Like you've been doing it so much that your body almost doesn't forget it. That's why a lot of people just jump right back after taking like a long leave of absence or like break. So here's some mistakes that you want to avoid. You don't want to be doing half reps. Go as low as you can. There's no reason that most people should not be able to go lower than that. Also make sure that you come up. So you need to come all the way up at the top and squeeze the glutes. Also, like I said, make sure that your chin stays tucked. Do not look up like this. This is placing unnecessary amounts of stress on your neck. And obviously you're not training your neck here. You're trying to do deadlifts. Another thing is to make sure that you keep your arms straight. Do not bend your elbows like this. This is excessive, by the way. I know most people don't do that, but just make sure you avoid it. Also, don't bend at the knees like that. Just a slight bend at the knees, just enough to kind of break that tension off the lower back. Also, make sure, this last thing, that your back stays straight. Make sure your lower back is straight and your upper back is straight and not rounded over like this.